occasions, but of just being that consistent factor. Like, you've got to look at players like Kiwi being able to perform as well as he has, and Kurax, we sort of said at the start of the day, like, he's the player that's been performing better and better as the tournament's gone on. What a way to finish on an agent like Ray's. He's been super flexible, and really it almost feels like Vitality was like borrowed time, right? So many of those insane 11-1 comebacks to win them at 13-11. This is what happens when it runs out and goes up against a team that just isn't phased by anything. Like, they made mistakes, sure, they're 0-2 down in the best of 5 series, but they're still playing, and once they got their confidence back, it really felt that there was only one team that was going to win this match.
Yeah, and I feel like on Icebox and Split, there was a huge gap in the compositions. Like, it's not a secret that I don't like Reyna, right? But it was visible in the gameplay. The amount of dry peaks that we have seen from Vitality happening because of that, like, was actually crazy. And the fact that, like, here, for example, Reyna does get the 3K on the eco round, right? But her ultimate doesn't really give that much impact when he gets the orbs. Right?
And there's one big difference, right? A comfortable race, Ryan. What difference that can make, when we particularly compared to raises we've had in this game.
Yeah. I also just think that it's the fact that all of these players have been very flexible throughout. I think all of them have played 3 different agents in this best of 5. I think Kurax today is up to 4 now with the stuff that he's been playing, which do include obviously the Rays, but the Sky, the Fade, the Sage. He's been wonderful. And I want to just really harp on how good Foot have been today. But this Vitality team just needs more time in the oven, really. I think that this was a long time coming, and it would have been nice to see them perform perfectly from this squad putting together, but the ceiling is still one of the highest out of other teams that we have in EMEA, but they still have a while to reach that. Like, a lot of just indecisions, I suppose, about how to approach certain things, and you could tell just how they were improving on certain maps like Bind throughout the tournament. They're still improving. Are they that kind of level yet to win something like this? Well, I think footballists just sort of proved them wrong there.
Yeah, but for esports, I think this is a huge win for the entire region, right? For them, this is a huge celebration of a team that finished 4th in the season, right? In their leaderboards, and was managed to go through this entire playoffs, battle through the lower bracket as well, and do a full sweep, a reverse sweep on this final against such a, let's say, highly anticipated team as Vitality. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
It beat every team in the top 4 as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They beat Angry Titans, beat Kase, and then beat Vitality as well. So, they didn't have an easy route at all to do this, right? And so, yeah, like you said, these players, either with the org foot going into partnership, or you're looking at players like Kurax, Kiwi to go other places potentially, no matter what happens next year. It's a great position for these players to be in, considering the start of the year was pretty torrid by foot standards. They wanted to be in VCT, they weren't able to. This is the next best thing.
And you know what? This is the opportunity where we can finally talk to Mr. Fallen, and it's wonderful to finally talk to this guy after that victory. My man, you must be damn proud after making that after a 0-2 scoreline.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
How are you feeling right now? I mean, you were down 0-2. You were very close to losing, and you pulled it through.
Yeah. Yeah, after the bind, we just, all of the team members just hyped down, I think we just said, lose the game on TV. It's okay. Just give to lose or win, that's it. But after the bind, we just say that if we win Ascent, we're going to lose, we're going to win the game, we're going to reverse it. Because we believe that. Because we know we are better than him, we know Split better than him. And we just believe that, and that's happened.
Right, it particularly felt, if we take a look at the last 3 maps, that your defending side was really strong. What, in your eyes, made your defense so good against a team like Vitality?
Actually, they don't have anything to on attacker side. They're just rushing somewhere 5 or just waiting as a 5, and then coming as a 5. We just waited all the time, gathered the info, and just communicate each other, and just played 2-2. That's it. We always pick together, not by one.
Right, and you know what?
Don't do that.
It makes a lot of sense, right? This is the thing you were talking about, because from day to day, I remember you said if we fix our mistakes, we have the really good chance of beating everyone in this tournament. Would you say that today was exactly this day that after Bind, this was the Foot esports that we're going to see that good in the future?
Yes, sure. That's right. Yeah, I think we just lose the bind because of ourselves, I think we just, that was 11-7, I think. We just I don't know. Everyone just, I think, gets hyped to win the map, on the final. But I think just till the game because we pick one by one. But after the game, just chill. Everyone just take the cigarette on the smaller and we just win the game.
Very chill. I mean, big chilling you've been doing.
Big chill, yes.
Yeah, big chill. You probably saw right there that there was a massive watch party going on. I mean, how is it making you feeling knowing that so many people cheer for you?
Yeah, there are so many people there, and I'm really, really thankful everyone is there, really, if I don't know them. I love them so much.
I want to give you once more the opportunity. Every interview you had the opportunity to talk in Turkish to your fans, right? And you see them right here. You see how excited they were about you winning. I give you this moment to say everything you want to your fans in Turkey.
Thank you. Kes başından sonra söylemiştim aslında bu TRT'ye map vermeden alacağım söylemiştim. Sözü tutamadım, kusura bakmayın. Ama Bind'da gerçekten kötü oynamasaydık, gerçekten kendimiz vermeseydik 3-1 bitmişti. Ama bu da okey. Bence 2-0'dan geri gelmek çok daha iyiydi. Öcümüzü aldık, şampiyonuz.
Thank you very much, my man. It was a big pleasure. I wish you a wonderful evening and take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Mr. Fallen. Oh, man. I mean, the excitement in his eyes, Ryan. You have to say once more, this is an absolute underdog story, right? Because if we take a look back, there was an Excel in this tournament, for example. And let's be real, pretty much everyone thought, yeah, Vitality versus Excel. That's going to be the final. But this was absolutely kind of a Cinderella story, even.
Yeah, and even like talking to some of the coaches, there were expectations of like an Angry Titans or a Cassie to come in and do some work. And, FUT was part of that list overall. But they flourished and just got better as the tournament's gone on. And I think regardless, for teams like Cassie, for FUT Esports, for Vitality, it's a good position to springboard on. You've got the Ignition events going into the end of the year as well. It's a great position to be. And like Mr. Fallen was pretty much a no-name for us, at least, as like non-native like Turkey players, I guess. To now being like a strong leader of a team that's really chasing up behind BBL to be the best team in Turkey. Also with the reaction to the watch party, Istanbul is going to be nuts for champions if that's what it can do for the regional leagues.
Yeah, I think it's going to be unbelievable. But what I really liked from like a human perspective is we had such a stark contrast of Mr. Fallen in a pre-match interview. When he was a little bit like quieter, when he was speaking even in his native language, it was very deliberate. Right now, when he was speaking in his language, he was like a ball of excitement.
Yeah.
It was like spitting the words with such a passion. It's just so nice to see the human interaction, the human between the player.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been a wonderful guy anyway. And talking about wonderful people that we had some wonderful play so far. And the player of this match is most definitely Kraxlofer. And considering that last map, it feels very deserved.
I'll be honest with you. I feel like for me, even though he's the player of the match today, I think the most memorable moment was still from yesterday when he just pushed that CT on Haven and got that triple kill. I still have it in front of my eyes. He's unbelievably aggressive, and it is just embodiment of how this team sometimes just tries to play it at a disadvantage and convert that disadvantage to their own advantage.
Do you think he's player of the tournament then?
That's hard to say. I feel like
it'd be up there, I think, as well. Vitality player, like Buddy G from some of the moments that he had.
That has been the cool thing about FUT for me, Ryan, that there was not only one player stepping up all the time. They were really, they were showing that unit kind of type.
Yeah, like we highlighted like March at the start of the day, and it was like, all right, he's the passive player that isn't going to have like too much impact on a score sheet or whatever, but he was having insane clutches and movement and stuff, and I think ultimately you set those boundaries, those foundations. It's always going to be difficult for Vitality, who's a very loose team, to try and adjust to that. And like, it's been a really entertaining best of five. A lot of mistakes, sloppy, still room to grow for both squads. But seeing these two teams really put through the ringer has been really interesting to watch, to see them, how they rise and fall over time. And both teams have their moments, but obviously FUT are the ones on top.
Yeah, and also notable mention, Kiwi in this last map had 8 first bloods and only 2 first deaths. Like, he was able to be a catalyst for the success of FUT Esports on Split, which is very important. On the contrast, we had like Hyper with 5 first deaths and 0 first bloods because he was just getting farmed by Kiwi for example here. And in general, I feel like for FUT Esports, every map there was someone else that was showing up.
Yeah.
But it was always a team effort, right, to make that player shine. And even though it was improvised, it wasn't a set play, it is the recipe for success.
Yeah, and it has been shown that this can work, right? But you know what? If you're just right now sitting here with us and you're asking yourself, hold on, what do I got to wait for? Is there any more EMEA action going on anytime soon? Don't you worry. 2 more days, then the last chance qualifier starts, also including a Turkish team in the form of BBL. So you better do not miss that, because I'll tell you like this man's going to be here, this man's going to be here, I'm going to be here, and you'll better be there as well. So I'll tell you, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. It has been an absolute pleasure having you guys here. And so we have the winner of the Valorant Regional League Finals. It goes to Foot, and you know what? In 2 days, I'm promising you we have more EMEA action going on. Till then.
You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now.
Last player standing.
You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now.
Last player standing. Hey. Standing.
You can't stop me now.
Last player standing.
You can't stop me now. Yeah. Ooh, here we go. Back again, same scenario. Win, 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 win. Yeah, we on a roll. Yeah, 2, 4, 6. We like 10 and 0. I should probably tell them something that they didn't know. Back then, we was down with nowhere to go. Shit, might have been down, but we didn't fold. Now we running it like some intervals. Ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when I come through you. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, give me that crown. I need that now, right now. Ooh, don't make a sound. It's my time. You hear the crowd. We need that rain. Me and my team. Deja vu. This here a dream. We done all seen 100 times over back when we was just teens. Now we going dumb. Told them we the one. They would count us out. Now we counting up the funds. Now without a doubt, they be throwing other ones. Like they was always rapping. Now believe them if you want. Now they show love. Came with a dub. It is what it is. It isn't what it was. They all love to hate when it don't work out. Tell you that they always been down when it does. Look. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you gonna do when we pull up on you? Like, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through you. Ooh, shut down. Ooh, shut down. Say, ooh, what now? Tell me who you see when you look straight up. Like, wait, who? Us now. What you you gon' do when we pull up on you? Yes, ooh, touchdown. You already know what it is when we come through. Ooh, shut down.
Yah, patah.
Kamu mau apa?
Spatula, rak makan, pelan, timbangan, garpu, teflon panci.
Shopee 88 Pesta Diskon Supermarket. Gratis ongkir semua toko. Beli 2 diskon sampai dengan 50% dan tembus murah 5.000. Beli semua di Shopee.
Welcome back, everyone, to Masters Berlin, where Gambit have taken a haven. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm back on the desk with Kakuka, Bala, Gio, and that beautiful trophy that our teams are fighting for. Now, I'm going to put you two on the spot here, because at halftime, you were disappointed with the lack of things that Gambit were bringing. Bala, are you still disappointed with the way they play their attack side?
Really? Right off the bat, you're coming at me?
Yeah, I'm coming at you. I'm coming at you.
Look, I honestly don't, yes, I was disappointed. After half, after the map select, maybe I was just still tilted after seeing the agent select a little bit at halftime, because the second half changed it completely for me, right? The idea I was rolling around with my head in was, maybe, if they do something kind of random, it's not really meta, it's not anything, they really don't play against the Brimstone, maybe you'll have Envy underestimated. And I think that rolled over to me. Because that was completely not what I expected in the second half. I didn't really think of the possibilities of what Red Card could do, for example, in the arena.
I just want to point out, I didn't say I was disappointed, so you're on your own with that one. But no, I was very impressed with what happened in that second half, especially when, you look at Gambit's most recent performances on Haven. It's usually is the defense that they do better on, as kind of per their MO. This time, it really felt like they shone on that attack.
I mean, I wouldn't say that statistics work for anything here, but when we're talking about Gambit on Haven, it's always like, there's no pressure because they do not expect to win this map ever. So it's literally like frame ranked with your 4 best friends and just keep on going. And the fact that we saw Redcar using the dismiss, he's learned from.
He has.
It's amazing.
He did say that when he first played Reyna on Haven last time, that it was the only time that he's ever even played this agent, really. But I love what you pointed out. And Bala, you wanted to add something there?
Yeah, I just want to say, hey, they were 2-0 before, now they're 3-0. Maybe we should look at statistics from now on when we talk about Gambit and
Unbeaten. Red Card's Reyna and Jet.
Final.
100% win rate on Red
This is
Card.
the thing,
Reyna and
basically,
Jet.
if you want to play Reyna well, just walk into B, because that seems to be what he's doing here. Just walk all the way up mid and just do your thing, and you're fine.
I have one stat real quick. +7 for first kills, first deaths, and he was also +7 against Victor. He was farming Victor that
Wow.
entire time, and
my
Victor
God.
really struggled on that map the entire time.
But I gotta say though, the one player that did really shop for Envy, as always, is Ye, and he is here for the Verizon's high-speed moment of the match. This was disgusting. This on an eco, Bala. This is just only Ye, I feel like, can pull this off.
Yeah, he has a Marshall. You never count him out. This is ridiculous. And then the final 1v1 too, I don't know how he won that too, because I felt like Nas played that to perfection. He just ended up missing the shots. It was ridiculous.
I mean, as weird as it sounds, Nat can also miss some shots, but do you guys remember that they would have won even earlier if they would have trolled this round?
What do you mean this round?
I mean, in specific, okay, the catwalk in front of Ye with the Marshall. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, for the first match, map even, we were like, we saw everything, anything that could have happened. It was a great map. We were spoiled. I feel like a similar vibe here, but for very, very different reasons. I'm sure Sean is very, very excited to break some of that down. He's standing by. What did you make of that, Sean?
Exciting is an interesting word, Yinsu. But yeah, I have 2 rounds, actually the ones right after that Yay Eco Clutch. This is Gambit completely switching the pace. They're going straight into A hits, and boy, oh boy, did it work. This is what sealed the deal in my eyes. So let's go over what's going on right at the start of the round. So we're going to see Nats throw a cage over here at long, and from the cage, you can see Redgar on the Reyna, do a Leer outside, and Crashies actually has an arrow that's going to hit the ceiling right there. So playing the clip, you can see, there we go, and you can see there's so much utility thrown at the start. That is Victor's guiding light to give Envy info. There are people inside A main. We have the arrow hitting the ceiling. In addition to that, there's a Trailblazer going to clear out short A. There's so much going on. Nats has the camera for short A, so everything is centered around this A hit, and they're looking to explode on this site really, really quick. So fast forwarding the round a bit here, you can see Defo is going to get long control, and he is the man I need to watch here, because he is the person that took Yay out of the game in these late rounds. He was the only player to have success doing so. So we have the Seekers pop by the sky on attack, and watch how good the spacing is when these Seekers come. You can see the players are following them. They're capitalizing on this info. Victor is absolutely trapped in this corner. There's a guiding light coming right next to the Seeker. There's just not any good solutions right now for Victor in this corner. And you can see, meanwhile, over here at long, we have Defo, Redgar working up. Defo was on this box over here at long, which is how he found this frag on Yay. And this is important because he plays off of this in round 23. So let's play through the clip, and you can see the A site is lost so quick. These 20-second brimstone smokes in spawn in heaven with 1 to refresh. There's just no shot for Envy to retake this site, and they know that. They try to set up this save over at the C site, but knowing this is deep in the match with enough credits to last the rest of the match, Gambit opts to hunt both of these players down, and this is such a big decision coming out of Gambit. They end up finding both of the frags, and that brings us into a situation where Envy is in a must-win round in round 23, which is right here. And again, you see the Trailblazer coming to clear short A, and the same setup, right? The cage to cross long. We have Redgar coming through in the corner. But look at what's a little different here. We have the Jet holding the short A peak just in case Yay were to peek into this. And in addition to that, Nats is going to be on this monster lurk, which actually isn't even necessary because the A hit is so solid coming out of Gambit. So these 4 players are going to take long control as Nats lurks front B, and watch the spacing again. They progress up, and Redgar is wide on this side, and these 2 players both playing anti-flash on the right wall, the Brimstone holding the flank. All of the T's are crossed, all of the I's are dotted. Redgar wins the fight onto Victor, and immediately Defo updrafts. It's a fake updraft though, which has Yay. We saw it on the mainstream. He ends up holding this peak. Unfortunately for him, Defo completely outplays him and picks him from the ground, and that's when the hit happens even faster than before. You can see they're rolling off of that pick. Both the Brimstone smokes go down, the guiding lights come in, and look where Nats is. Even if this take wasn't clean, he's cleaning up the round, and it just goes to show how well prepared Gambit came into this match. It's not even a map they play, and they still completely dominated Envy on their attack half, and I don't think this is gonna stop, guys. I'm scared for Envy. I'm ready to go back home. Back to you guys on the desk.
Bekal hari ini apa mah? Telur tornado ala Korea. Cuma Blue Band yang bisa bikin telur jadi wangi dan gurih. Apalagi hanya Blue Band yang punya omega 3 dan 6, juga vitamin A dan E untuk daya tahan tubuh. Masak telur harus pakai Blue Band dong.
That is not the attitude, Sean. This is the best of 5. We have 3 maps left. You know, anything can happen right now. But I will say, we spoke about Envy as a team in this tournament that hasn't dropped a single map. They haven't even had to play from 1 map down. But now, Gio, they've got to play from 2 maps down. How do you feel about this?
It's an interesting one because I think Envy is certainly the sort of team who would be able to build themselves back up because they've been doing well. My concern is that there's too much pressure on Yay. It's almost like the F4Q bunny situation where if Yay is not doing those things, are the rest of the team going to follow up with?
I think that's what Sean and I were talking about earlier on the pre-show, where we're saying, hey, they haven't been challenged yet. Now they've been challenged and they're 2 maps down. and we just really don't know what's going to come out. We've expected in the past, like for example, in the very first game, it was like, oh, they challenged a little bit on Icebox, but the reality is, back in NA, if they do get challenged, they start to crumble.
And let's see if they're ready actually to take the challenge, because it's literally this map, this split, or they'll go home. I mean, without losing a map until now, but losing 3-0 still. We need to see what happens with this, because Gambit has played this split on 2 occasions, and I believe that they've lost the 2 of them against 100 Thieves and Vision Strikers. And for Envy, we saw them pretty strong against Sentinels, actually copying the composition that Gambit uses on this map.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to come back into this game, Bala, this is where they would come back, given their track record so far.
Yeah, and I think that it's a possibility. I'm just really curious about one little change in their comp, which could be FNS's and how he, you know, what agent he selects, because they went double Sentinel when they played against 100 Thieves, and I'm not sure if that'll cut it against the comp of Gambit.
Yeah, we are into the Prime Gaming agent select now. Gia, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, you know, FNS hovering over the Viper, but Crashies has already locked it in.
Yeah, Crashies is in there with the Viper, and we have FNS on the Cypher, Kakuka.
I actually really like it. I mean, I think it's the right play here. What I need to see is Victor back in the game. He needs to work hand-to-hand with Jay.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing a complete mirror matchup here. Bala, you know, Sean, he said he's ready to go home. How about you? How are you feeling for this?
No. Come on, bring it to 5 maps. Bring it to 5 maps. That's at least the bare minimum I want. I want this definitely to go to Envy. But Gambit has been impressive, and no matter what, we've definitely been in for a treat. Every single match so far has been so much fun to watch.
Well, Envy, they have to win here if they want to stay in this grand finals and prevent a 3-0. Over to you, Pansy and Hypok.
Isn't this just the question? How bad does Envy want this now? They've just been upset on the map that was meant to be theirs all day long. Most people in the world would have said, right, map 2, solid. Map 1, that's why we're all ready for map 1 to be the slugfest that it was. OTs are plenty. But now map 3, we're back in the more normal realm, but a more even affair here.
This, for me, is the last question mark in this map veto, right? Split is difficult to place. I mean, especially with that previous map performance, you got to take into account that there's a momentum element. We're in already.
Momentum isn't really stopping, because look at what Gambit are doing. They're just stacking up mad trades as Nats doubles down on the frags. Crashies and Yay purely punished as FNS is put in a 1v3. This is map 1. He's read it correctly. He'll be at least in the right place. We need some heroics from this man. Still utility put down. Not going to be lazy about it, but he's been noted, he's been seen, he's been caught. And Gambit carry on as they left off. Map 1 is in the books. Round 1 and map 2, actually, at that note.
Map 3, round 1. We were there,
yeah,
in there somewhere, but again,
oh god, Nats, what the hell?
This will be a real indicator, right? Because again, we can talk about Haven being an anomaly, and actually being very, very uncharacteristic. I can't even get my words out now, but
look, map 2's just done us in.
we come to split here, and again, a very, very quick start for Gambit. Now, do they maintain that pace? So, arguably, they're more questionable half on any map on the attack. See how that pans out this time. A lot slower, but Shado's going to set up with a flash here, and actually Envy walking this.
Nothing received off the back of it, and now actually they have to fall away, and they can't. Shados is going to punish, and of course Ye is still going to find some work with the Marshal. Just seems like a constant thing. You're never going to have a round like this without him doing some impact. But Gambit just death falling around. This is so uncharacteristic of them. This is them playing, again, a very unique manner that not many of us are used to, and I'm sure Envy feels somewhat the same. Good flash, though, going to set them up, push them deeper. Shados again going to claim another 2. Victor and FNS make it almost all of them. Ye's now fallen, and just Marv to find. He's going to probably walk into Chronicle here. There's Marv down to 22 already. Lovely shot. Extremely sharp from Marv, but 3 more. Still utility. Still the angle for Shados. I mean, I don't think Marv has many options now.
No, potential just here to try and come back through mid, or at least sit in bottom mid here and try and find something. It's looking like it'll be 3 to survive on the side of Gambit. We see Shados falling off this. The Seeker's online already on the back of that 4K. Marv will just give this up again. Want to just die to the spike. want to hold on to this. The full purchase through in the next one, and Gambit find the second. Now, again, usually I'd say expect here Gambit to hold a little bit, but with what we've seen, potential here to try and convert these SMGs and get themselves off with a flawless start, actually, on split. If they can get this bonus again, which I don't even want to talk about bonuses from the previous maps, but this one will be big.
And again, I really want to make sure you guys at home know this. If you haven't watched Gambit that much, if you don't know these guys, they are normally methodical, slow, clinical players, similar to Na'Vi. You know, that CIS look to it that is so characterized by how they approach this. But this has been a complete flip of expectation. Defo going to be the first one forward. Ye's on the side, good angle to play with. I don't know how they're going to get around this. It's maybe the Seekers and Defo just...
Ada break, ada KitKat.
Ignoring him right now. No one can close that gap. Marv keeps him at arm's length. Finally, one gets close, and that still stands. There was 2 players found. 3 stay alive with the rifle.
Yeah, a formality. Gambit just trying to get something done there. And able to actually, Seekers invested. I thought there was a chance they were able to isolate it on site, but I think Defo desperately trying to close the gap, get towards elbow, get towards screen, add a little more pressure, right? And I think it's actually eventually Marv that counter swings through that smoke, but come back in. We'll force 2 repurchases on the side of Envy and Gambit. They have rifles across the board.
This is the big one now. Envy need this on the board. I can't stress it enough. The mental game going into this, get that rifle under your belt. Get that first big buy away from Gambit, or the confidence will just continue to boom. Now, the problem is, though, if you're Envy, you now have to invest utility early. You have to be ready for those early, weird, aggressive, stacked up pushes. But if it is more of a default, more standard approach, that could be something different. However, already you can see the investigation from Gambit leaning towards A. They do have a little bit of step towards ramp. 2 players working their way up. And the exchange comes from middle. Looks like Envy wants back a little bit of the territory here. Good shot from Defo, but well shut down by Crashies. Mid is now theirs. Now Gambit have continued to make progress, though, on this side. We saw that earlier.
Able to counterbalance this perfectly. Now Nats will go hunting towards ropes. Crashy's got to be aware of it. He absolutely is.
Yeah, he's locked on. It just felt like he knew that the entire time, and obviously just good consideration. But removing Marv actually opens up the site, so the spike can now come across. Chronicle just going to make sure that no one's going to springboard quickly through those vents. No one was, so Redguard can get a plant. Now, planting open for Heaven. That's where we see, obviously, his compadre setting up towards it. And now the retake's going to take some time to get around here.
And this becomes problematic, actually, because there's only 1 member of Envy, and it's FNS, to potentially break this apart for Gambit, because he still has 2 snake bites, Chronicle. And he finds this kill, they can run the clock down, rely on this utility. The rest of Envy going to address that, though.
Yeah, the timing's great here. Chronicle can't get it. Crashies finds him. Now, timing is of the essence, and Redguard's got a dirty angle to play with. Oh, I thought the second was going to come through, but no, Victor holds his nerve. And that is exactly what Envy needed. It's not clean, it's not pretty, but it will be job done. Second on the board for Envy now.
They're going to have that blaze door line. Crashes as well with the Viper's Pit, so good situation to be in, actually, here, considering it's all tied up. And again, think back to the Seekers being invested. I think Nats has now got his neural theft online, but that's where I think they're potentially struggling. Saw a couple of SMGs in here. Actually, Redguard and Chronicle one away from theirs as well. Rifles across again. No opportunity to kind of build up Ye's bankroll at all towards that operator, which again is kind of key for Gambit as well. And once Ye gets rolling with it, just can rotate around again. Gambit though going to challenge mid, and lots of utility investment.
Look at the base. Crashes in so much trouble, but the control is sublime. Oh, Crashies! That is absolutely incredible work. After all that pressure, still comes out the victor as they tried to close the gap. Crashies is having a great round. He is truly going to be rewarded for this, as now Nats is the only one alive. They did invest a little behind it. It wasn't huge for Gambit. It's more the approach that they came with. It was purely to put pressure towards Heaven and then see the rest of them swing in. He's going to get one before Stand, and Crashies purely an MVP that round.
Well, actually, the utility is perfect from Gambit, right? I think it's actually 2 or 3 in quick succession to tie him up. Still finds that Defo desperate to get in here. You can see just how desperate he was. the second comes through. Red Guy again, desperate for the trade. Again, Gambit now back on rifles. 2 ultimates to talk about will be online now, with everyone dying out. See here is, again, Gambit set up a little weird. It's 2 on either side, almost in anticipation of a bit of aggression, but Marv find Defo on the back of that Cosmic Divide going up.
Shados has to respect it too. He looked like he wanted to maybe try and consider a trade or a little bit of impact, but what we're looking at is an open site. FNS, I think, just got the alarm bell ringing. Yeah, he just gets absolutely swung on by Nat. FNS backline, good for 1. The second not going to happen for him. Chronicle on the trade out. Ult comes up, and now the spike should be able to be planted. Seeker's not quite up yet for Victor. Can't quite clear out, but he can get the heal going for himself as well. Trying to get everyone back situated if required. He's going to lead the way. Double flash can be back up in 4 seconds, so he'll have a second to work with if he wants to lead this in his 3v3 post-plant.
And Nats and Chronicle actually getting healed up as well now. That's huge. Shados will maintain B main control, but Marv finds Nats.
Okay, the flash to the back of the side just to double check. I'm really happy to see that. Chronicle, what can you do with this? So there's the divide coming in. He's now going to be on an island. Gets a fade away on Victor. Pops down to utility. Shados has gone close though. He's close to the gap already. Fighting crashes. Now the 1v1. Shados is working with so little information. It's all on that! Shados! What a moment to come alive for the side! As Gambit right back into things. Envy looked like they'd had the answers for the last couple of rounds.
Again, I love that. Even Nat's falling there. It's just to gather a little bit of information with Shados playing so deep in B main. The Viper's bit buys up so much time. It's the perfect way for this to play out. And again, actually, the Cosmic Divide, I've got to say it, with it coming down to a 1v1, almost becomes a benefit for Shados, right? Yes. It gives him a pocket to play in. It's another safety net for him. And again, it comes down to an awkward 1v1, but he wins it out.
And that was a Red Bull clutch coming through for them too to get it all tied back up 3-3. But again, I want to talk about that mental game because Envy, I want to keep my eyes on you. I want to see how well you do to bounce back again. All these kind of things thrown into your face. But Defo, they take a lot of space.
Got your trail.
There's those Seekers being built up, coming on through. Yay, pushing way deeper. Redgar?
What?
You're going to ult that and beat Yay? All right, all right. I don't understand what is going on. Crashes with a huge denial. Now he focuses towards the other side, but outdone a little by Defo on the timing there. The Seeker's going to confirm so much attendance, but what a weird round. 3v3, let's take stock of things. Spike is heading back towards B. Who's over on this side? An interesting position for FNS. 2 through heaven, but the real challenge will be coming through spawn. He's got to keep his nerve here. They seem aware of the possibility. Marv's en route. Now we wait for the cross. Does FNS get what he needs? Oh, the timing, good read. Sees the barrel, he knows he's in trouble. And actually, Redgar's outdone him as well. I don't understand it. Victor does so well to trade back in to bring this into a 1v2. Redgar's HP is a problem. It's 47, and Victor's eyes are trained on that.
That's a beautiful setup there as well. Victor and Marv in really complementary angles to peek as soon as that contact comes through. Crashes. Again, he got double challenged by Nats and Chronicle there, and unfortunately, just for a split second line up behind that poison orb. Again, so much pressure built by that split coming through. Again, the Seekers in response from Victor as well made things a little easier for them, but at least it's... I mean, the flash was perfect. Unfortunately, Crashes, I think, just peaked slightly ahead of it. Defo's not caught blind by it. But here, Gambit.
Cheeky Pops, bikin yang seru, makin seru. Cheeky, play the circle of fun.
Pistols, SMG, and the Blade Storm, actually, it's going to be another fast piece.
Yeah, but to be fair, Envy have done quite well at maintaining this, even with some of the aggression. We saw that little piece coming out towards Heaven last time, but this is a lot of work just thrown down towards FNS. He's going to have to just play his life here, try and maybe stay alive a little longer for support, which is now here. So maybe not so worried. He's got players by his back. Spike does get denied. Good pick up there for Marv, who can fade away towards CT. None of these threats until Defo's done that have come into fruition. And now I'm getting a little nervous. 38 HP. He's just going to put his body on the line and he loses it. Nats with a rifle. 61 in a dream in a 1v3. HP is low for SNS, but now he knows. Now they know everything. And Marv was by his side. Envy. These are scary rounds, man. But they are controlling them, and they need this to get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. More confidence building off the back of them.
Yeah, I talked about map 1 and Envy being able to you know, slow things down and dictate the pace in a lot of rounds. But here, Gambit, again, leaning heavily on the successes from Haven, I guess, just trying to kind of commit to these. And again, talk about the composition on Haven with that Brimstone. Again, the smokes are very different to some of the other controllers. They're all in pieces, right? They're committed pieces. Once the smokes are in, there's nothing else. There's no cooldown to find something else to rely on. And Gambit leaning on that a little bit. This in a couple of these eco and actually in one of the buy rounds as well. Do we see Gambit slow things down now? Again, with that operator online, I almost expect it. They've got to now anticipate Ye's going to be drifting back and forth, and whether or not Envy then actually counter that with some set pieces to maybe enable Ye to find these first bloods.
Options are there. I still feel like Gambit just have so much freedom to play with here because they're so...
Oh, yeah.
With so many maps in the pocket, they get to just kind of... Oh, maybe we try something a bit riskier here, we can go for this, we can go for that, whereas Envy, you know, it's tournament life on the line. This is grand finals on the line.
There's big mental weight on this for Envy. And again, almost more pressure to kind of tame the beast once again.
But as close as these rounds have been, they have been rifle rounds they've been winning, they've been keeping it clean enough to convert. This has been a substantially better look for Envy. This is potentially the gateway back in. The doorway is now open, they just have to walk through it. This is, again, going to be a tough round to control. The light armor, though, and the kind of small takeaways that they can't get online are going to be a bit of an issue for Gambit, as their economy is a little rough around the edges. And yay, he's walking it. Yeah, big man's on it, but it's a big trade. Redgar still not going to let him get momentum off the back, or at least fall away. Going to punish that pick and now get it to a 4v4.
Playing opposite numbers, though, and Nats will find Crashies. Will bring the Vipers a bit away. Marv actually wise to the fact he could have crept up behind it. Again, we'll confirm that there's nothing else towards A main. Victor. Again, maybe considering pushing through there, but Gambit now will reset. Again, if they can isolate Marv, he's not full HP either. This will be A site wide open.
It's a hard position to clear, though.
Not so hard.
I mean, I feel like Shados didn't even really think there was a player there. He was like, I'll kill you anyway. And now the spike's en route, and as yes, Marv was a little bit deeper in there, so he could have maybe bought time for rotations if he'd found that first pick, but that's not the case. Now the rest of them, which is FNS and Victor, have very little step towards this site. So again, some of these picks are going to be incredibly hard to work out. FNS looking through screens as Victor working his way back through spawn. Chronicle waiting, and he's happy to greet him. So FNS takes that first step. Very tentative on approach, but this is going to be potentially hard. That definitely will be. Because now they know where he is. And the spike is planted very nicely for Gambit. This looks like a bit of a sewn up round. FNS does find Shados. But Gambit find another to get on the board. This is now getting closer.
That's brilliant there. Red Guard, you see again, once the smoke pops on screens, they immediately divert their attention back towards that flank, which is why Chronicle is absolutely posted to happen. Again, the trade, this is the thing, does Ye start, pushing a little deeper, getting a little more risky, and how well can Gambit control that? Yeah.
I mean, it's very hard. I do want to think about Ye as well in this, because it's hard to put yourself as that, well, I'll just try and make a play happen. I'm going to put my life on the line here, because if I mess up, that's an op gone, that's going to be maybe something recovered, that's a lot of early impact, so it's very hard to give yourself that, especially when you're 2 maps down. So for now, say Ye sitting not necessarily deeper, he is still towards, Melrome. He's not that far off it, just not going walkabouts. He's not pushing those extremities as much, playing a little bit more dedicated towards middle. And the bite, rough on either side. Nat still with the Spectre, and then Victor something similar in a Bulldog for FNS. So no one's economy in the perfect place, but Nat's, I mean, he's just been walking this way the entire time.
Crash is going to be on rafters here. Again, it's another double stack. They're going to swing this together. Actually, the flash perfect for Heaven as well. Look at this. It's just absolute precision on the side of Gamma. As he will find the first, Nats will fall.
You are divided!
The Cosmic Divide in response, actually, from Redgar.
I think they just noted as well with the dog that there was a player lurking around the backside of B. Now, that's where the spike actually is. So this could be a really good late-game piece of information that was just claimed by Victor. That's why they haven't hit rotations. That's why they haven't leant over towards A after that contact.
30 seconds left.
So that one bit of info filtering through has made a big difference here. Flash confirms it. Now they know the intention. They can get the plays in the right place. They're going to lean Ye over here. FNS now sees it. He knows what's coming his way as well. Victor has to play close on site. Ye feeling that fire starting to burn. Flash comes in. It's a good flash too. FNS will lap it up. 2 big kills with Victor to follow. Leaving Depo, who was on that flank. Wait, excuse me, 7 seconds though. Time. Surely not. It's a 1v3. There's no way he's going to be given even any more opportunities. He's done what he can. Made a bit of impact. But the round is all but over.
Pesta diskon supermarket 88. Di Shopee supermarket 88. Pesta diskon supermarket 88. Di Shopee supermarket 88.
And Envy hold the line. Again, the timing on that flash crucial because Gambit leaning back towards one of those late round hits. Again, all Envy need is an indicator with no other presence shown on the rest of the map other than this initial push towards Heaven. It's all the way over on A though, so great timing on that. And Envy, like you said, able to adjust accordingly. That pulls Ye down from Heaven. He knows there's probably no pressure coming through from mid because he's been there the entire round. But now back down on scrap. Shados will spec up. A couple of pistol upgrades, but that's about it.
Yeah, it looks one-dimensional is the wrong word, but it looks very direct in approach. But Nats just beat Victor. Marv is now getting traded out on. It's not looking so clean. This is looking so messy. And now we're going to have the Seekers go out so they know how much time they have to maybe get this spike plant, get into trickier post-plant positions. And now from Heaven, 2 come through. Ye and FNS. There it is. Catches them on the way out. That's massive. But the flank. Look at the likes of Shados. Now, when does he pull the trigger? It's now. He gets presented the perfect opportunity as FNS put in a dire scenario. Gambit do it again. They do the unthinkable. A thrifty round. They came in with odds and ends, and they punished every opportunity they could find. This game, I thought this was going to be Envy's. I saw a little bit of momentum, a little bit of maybe confidence starting to build up, and Gambit are right back in there, breaking them down.
I mean, Gambit just kind of thriving in these really, really kind of disorganized kind of pushes through there. Again, I'm not entirely sure how that initial exchange went. I didn't know if Victor had a rifle, but he lost to the frenzy of Nats. And at that point, it's like, stack up, death ball, we play trades. And it comes down perfectly. It goes to a 2v2.
We need Ye here, and Ye's gone. I know. Nats is going to walk his way through. Gambit are just plowing their way in towards the site. And they've got everything set up for this. It's everything they wanted as well. A couple of players are up towards ramp, though, but Chronicle seems all but too aware. Spots the first on the way back through, expects a second. He can't control it well enough towards Crashies, but it's only going to be Crashies for a split second. And we're back at 6-6. Gambit just, again, find that next gear to go to. Who are they?
The crazy thing is, every time they find this first blood, look for it, straight away it goes to the buddy system, right? And all they're doing is just desperately trying to trade.
It's 6-6. Analysts.
Tell us something.
Yeah, please, because I don't know where this is going. It could not be closer on the half.
No, it could not. The scoreline says 6-6, but Kakuka, do you feel like that was a 6-6 half? Because Envy, they had a good momentum going into it.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like when we're having a matchup and most of the kills end up with the refrag and with the trade, I feel like it means that both teams are 100% onto the game. That's what most rounds were about, and especially this last rounds where Gambit just wants to change the whole pace and the whole tempo and just crash onto sides, bringing the chaos, as Panse and Hypo were saying. We get a 6-6.
Yeah, but I think the thing that's missing too is the fact that the clutches are going in Gambit's ways, right? Shados in that one, the one with the Astral Wall, and then round 11 as well, where they have that weird situation where it's a 2 versus 3, and there's the flanking coming from Shados. It's a perfect timing situations that Gambit is really playing well with.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the things that have impressed me about Gambit is, for example, actually we saw it on round 9. You know, Envy, they're bringing this double controller composition, which is allowing them to place these Viper's walls in mid and use their Astra Stars elsewhere on the sites themselves, and yet it's just not deterring Gambit from pushing forward. They want to push into the B site, or in round number 9, where they use their Viper's wall over on A as well as a Viper's Pit, and Nats' positioning over there was so perfect to bring Crashies down and give them that opening they needed. So they're ignoring the fact that there's all this controller utility, which would be enough to stop other teams.
To be fair, I expected this to be, stronger by Gambit because they chose to pick this split over Icebox. They decided to leave that for the 5th map. So I was kind of expecting that it was going to be like peek and breeze against G2. And, I'm kind of cold, but I'm still hoping for the defense.
I mean, we spoke about how Envy need to do to get back into this when they're behind, Bala. What do you think the answer is to that question?
Yeah, I think they need to lean on Ye even more on this attack side when it comes to it. I want to see him pushing that A side with FNS using his Viper Wall and his smoke to take control of A ramp and just continuously go at that. Try to get those lurks working. Otherwise, it's going to be rough.
Well, it is 6-6. Nothing separates these two sides. Pansy and Hypok. It is kind of impossible to call this one.
It is, but there is now just potentially one more half. It's do or die time for Envy. This is what all those, hours, weeks, months of work that have been poured into lead up to this moment. You have to come in with everything you've got. Otherwise, Gambit, walk away the victors. This is how much you've got to prove to us, Envy. How bad do you want it? Because Gambit are in touching distance now.
Envy will stack up. Everybody committed right now. That's it.
Okay.
Oke nih. Nestle Goodness, paduan unik susu dan khasiat herbal, nutrisinya imbangi aktivitasmu.
Gravity well.
Good start.
She will get countered. Ye will find an opener here, and Chronicle will have to give this up.
I love this
They're
deeper
coming
lead.
through though, but they're going to be aggressive.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Ye was willing to put himself on the line a little here, try and get a little bit more information, control that deeper CT side. And there's 3 of them stacked on this. Ye loses the first fight. Defo now, this isn't as clean as I wanted. This is 2 players now trying to deal with 1. Where's the rest of this hit? Nats just got marved. FNS, Victor, and Crashes, what's going on here? Victor, back of sight, big flash. Oh, he walks into Nats, and Shados is there. And now a 1v2. And the spike gets tapped. They know they're going to be sitting this now. Crashes has to close that gap. It's gone halfway. Nats sees him. Defo gets off the spike. Crashes on the jump peak. He's going to fall his way around. Defo has to hold his breath and try and wait it out. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's down to the wire, but Defo's going to get it defused. And, Envy have got to be in shambles. Gambit take the first step. After what I thought was a great start, I liked that CT pressure, but it went to pieces.
But the problem being now, with a round like that, it knocks the wind out of Envy. They tried to get right back in the driving seat, and it's completely picked apart by Gambit. Again, just look at how effective Gambit are when they stack up and play these trades. Defo there, again, not an awful lot to do. 17 HP, he has to come through and challenge. He knows the half diffuser's come through already. Really awkward scenario. Once again, Envy will stack up. Only has 3 this time. So A is the intention initially.
It's Chronicle towards the top side of ramp, just going through the motions, very similar to before. Red Guard trying to get a punish. Crash, he's taking a lot of damage, and actually Chronicle's going to close that gap.
Beautiful.
Nicely isolated, going to just soften them up on the cross. FNS now down to about half HP. This is clean, very clean work here from Gambit. You see that synergy, you see the utility work between the two. As the last piece of what was left of Envy is working towards middle. Marv now. Possible scenario given. And yes, Nats will be waiting on the other side. And the spray, he knows that there's a player so close by. And peekaboo. It's going to be a clean second round here for Gambit.
4 will survive. That's 4 weapons carried across as well. See how Envy will adjust on their first purchase here. Again, nothing other than that kind of utility usage there over towards A main. Nothing really to write home about for Envy here in the first goal. Again, no real feelers in terms of the setup. Now, the key thing to note, on the back of that round, Nats is now going to invest some utility in ropes and potentially now sit with Shados over towards A. So, switch up on the side of Gambit, but also for Envy now, they're going to lean heavily towards B.
This is one of the big rounds for Envy as well, because again, you've got to convert this here. Just the bonus against you. Gambit getting a little looser with it, happy to push up, take risks, but the reward's not there to follow. Victor with a good opener towards that B site. Spike's not collected yet though, so that's going to be FNS's duty, and if Chronicle hears this, he should be dealt with by Crashies. Maybe not. Oh dear, that's a problem. A couple of issues starting to rear, but the spike will be planted, and we have to see this post-plant.
Spike planted.
We'll come through Defo again, though. Envy drifting deeper and deeper here, trying to get aggressive. Victor will take a tag, but he'll back away, leave Ye posted. But 2 players now accounted for in spawn.
Good collection from Marv. It's the flash, but all away from the angle, cleanly enough. He's getting closed in on the flash. He has to turn it, respects it, but the trade comes out. The numbers heavily favored now towards Envy. 3 of them standing. They want to keep this as clean as they can, keep as many rifles up. They'll be punished on 3, only 2 alive. So the economy might be a little worse for wear, but it's not the end of the world. They just need rounds on the board here.
And that's big, again, in terms of the expected timeline here. Potentially Gambit flipped that, and they're on double digits. So a crucial round, to say the least, for Envy. Can they carry through? Again, going to force a repurchase at least on 3 members, but do manage to get 4 rifles. 1 SMG in the hands of FNS, but he's going to play deep anyway. Potentially, if anybody does pushes, might actually get himself an advantageous 1v1. But another variation here from Gambit. I mean, that's over on B site. Utility committed as well. Envy will creep up.
They swing together, they start walking. There's 1 pack. That's at the back of the site, though. He sees everything, and now he's going to find everything off the back of Chronicle. They've set them up for success. It was a trap laying in wait, and now Seekers get popped to try and levy this out, give them a way back through here, because now they've got problems. FNS, though, great positioning. They crunch towards heaven. There's the aggressive Envy we need to see. There's the team to take the fights. The flash not going to go deep enough. FNS just jiggling on the corner. Some whiffs of the flashes. It ain't good enough. Redcar now presented a 1v3. He's going to get 1 for 30 HP. I think that's about all he's going to get.
Yeah, and this on the back of Chronicle finding 2 openers in this round. Redgar will come creeping. Envy are going to challenge. I think they'll play pretty deep. Redgar going to retrieve the operator, but FNS will hear this. Again, with no armory on Victor or FNS. Expect them to peel all the way away from this. Don't want to give away any more in terms of the economy. Again, look at the ultimates now on the left side of your screen. Envy effectively tapped out. Yeah, they're about 4K to play with overall, so it should be a fairly comfortable purchase here, even though 3 did die on the side of this setup, though. It's so disgusting. How many times do we talk about Nats just sitting in a camera from the start of the round, and Gambit have these beautiful set pieces around? They're just 2 pieces of utility there.
It's so well considered, though, and I love how they play around it, but credit to Envy for bringing this into 8-8 now. Now, we were talking about the economy. It's a little weird, it's a little funky, but it's not dire yet. It's missing maybe 1 rifle off it. Now, Shados is going to be the critical piece if you're a Gambit fan here. Defo can also join that list too with the ult now coming through.
Here with the Blade Storm. Now, Nats will show to the spy cam. 1 player noted, yeah, he actually
very aware.
Yeah, privy to the fact there may be another counter beak on the back of that. Does Defo swing ahead of this? He does.
He is.
No way.
He's going to find Ye too. That's a huge scalp to claim. Such a difference maker sometimes for these Envy rounds. But now Redgar, can he do something too? Marv's just like, wait, what the hell is going on? Chronicle's there as well, waiting for that combination to come through. And I mean, FNS is deep in this, and he's been great at threading the needle, but gets revealed. They now know this position that's come in, and Chronicle going to be forced to handle it. He does, and now that's 2 huge picks and 2 huge problems presented for Envy. Marv's in no man's land. He's got a player right, player left. Can't find a cleave. Finally loses it. Chronicle, the beast through the vents, is now Victor, and Crashy's left in pieces. And that's a whiff and a half from Defo, but he does have his buddies by his side. He's got Chronicle nearby. Crashies, do you have some magic for us here? Because you're going to need a bit. And maybe, just maybe he does. But 1 more. Shados breaks the hearts and gets it for Gambit.
On the back of just the operator brought into this, a shorty, a Blade Storm. It's nothing pretty, but Gambit able to stop Envy in this round. Crashes though. You damn made it interesting, that's for sure. There's a world where I thought, yeah, he's going to find that. When I thought Redgar was on operator as well, it's such an awkward peak there.
Yeah.
And now, look at the knock-on effect. A frenzy in the hands of FNS. Ye has his Blade Storm. Again, expect FNS to sit very deep. Almost better for him to try and make use of that pistol. Envy will stack up 3 in garage. Ye goes hunted in mid.
No more charges left.
How much space does Shea get given? His first challenge will be towards Heaven. It's going to be Chronicle. He's a patient boy. No rush for him. Maybe couple it with the timing on that B piece, try and get that attention. Draw on either side. He's got support in middle now as well. There's the ult coming in too, so that's quite interesting. Could be a different dynamic in a 1-1 trade out. Yeah, he's going to find the pick towards top of middle. There's Nats though, still back of the side, still being a problem. They still need more though for Envy in this. They need a bit more damage. Shados, he's living on borrowed time, but Ye now gets challenged down. Shados wins against FNS and Envy fall like flies. Gambit have made it to 10. This is now on the verge. Envy need to stop the rot or this is over. Gambit are now on the verge of winning this out.
Again, we talked about it in the previous. I know Sean's brought this up before. You give Nats a pocket to play from, and look what he's capable of doing. Now, the purchase, a Marshal, 2 Sheriffs, a Frenzy again for FNS. Nothing else to work with. Blade Storm invested in that previous round.
Let's go.
Gambit, now, I mean, rolling in it. They hit 11, very comfortable. They can almost play this trade out. It doesn't even need to be a flawless victory for them.
No, they can start applying pressure to the wound. They can really start making it hurt. Crashies receives a little bit of chip damage there, but this is a light purchase for Envy. It will put them under the gun. It'll be up against 11, potentially, if this goes the way it should. See Nats getting a little aggressive here, leaning out, and we'll find Marved.
Well, but 2 weapons noted, 2 different pistols at least. Chronicle will throw down a snake bite to maybe keep Envy outside of A main. Yeah, he's actually walking this. Tried to get something. We'll find a tag, but nothing else.
He does get the tag. It feels like he's always going to get something, but Redgar is right there to fill the gap. And now, where's the last 2 do anything with this? A little bit of a pinch coming up. Could be nice. Ah, maybe not. Redgar's read it so well. And Crashies, he's now noted. It's Redgar with the shutdown. We're at 11. Gambit only a couple rounds away now as walking away flawless in a grand finals against Envy.
I mean, this is for Envy to come into this having not dropped a map at this event to now being on the brink of losing out 3-0 in the grand finals. Everything rides on this purchase. Cosmic Divide, Viper Spit available for Gambit. Whether or not Chronicle will invest this now. Maybe take control of mid. He's then outside ropes right now. He's going to do just that behind this setup. Yeah, he's actually going to come forward and challenge it. He's got to be careful, though. He will slip back towards Sushi. Envy don't let up. If I actually didn't even get a tag on that. It looked like it was lined up perfectly.
Envy have a new challenge presented here, trying to get past this. Chronicle adding a conundrum to middle and just being a nuisance, being a problem. They can clear him back, but they won't be able to take that space straight away. They're going to have to push on through him. Chronicle catches, just arms wide open. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, come our way. This is just fine. And what do Envy now do? It looks like they're going to lean back towards A, but there's plenty of bodies there.
Again, I'm fairly certain, just from looking at the minimap, Nats has been in this spy cam the whole time. So no pressure. Yep, no pressure at all felt in terms of this A setup. Shados will be in position to counter peek, potentially towards A main. They're going to note this utility usage. There's 2 members of Gambit here to hold this down.
There it is. It starts with Shados, but the trade out is great. Envy still fighting with everything they have here. 20 seconds and the spike plant coming in. They have Heaven control for now. This is good. This is the biggest chance they have.
Guardian Man Agnofy, lawan 99% kuman penyebab jerawat dalam 10 detik. Buktiin sendiri.
They just have to hold this. Chronicle, first one forward, going to be trying to clear towards FNS. HB favorable towards FNS, and as is the angle and the shot. Good work there, but Defo now wants to have a go, and did he just tag him on that too? I think FNS, yeah, he's down to 49, he's got to back away from that guy.
Walk away.
The next layer of pressure is not being presented. FNS ready to punish Defo if he tried to make a play, but the time has drifted away from them here.
We talked about the economy. They can just hold here. Again, if everyone dies, it's a big bonus. FNS will find one.
Work.
Good guy in position, though.
He's going to punish. It's one. Yeah, they're in trouble now. Money-wise, Redguard's going to just make it hurt.
Huge.
That is huge economy damage, even in the wins. Gambit is still finding ways to be just such a thorn in the side.
Pressure piled on now. Crash is having a hell of a map as well.
Absolutely.
Leading the server right now. Again, a little ahead of that, actually. As soon as the spy cam, actually I guess kind of the catalyst there for Gambit is the spy cam being removed all the way up in heaven. We saw it was posted previously, but the tripwire just a little behind where you'd expect it to be, right? They shouldn't be able to get that spy cam before the tripwire set off. But a slight overstep on Gambit's side.
And a chance for Envy, and it's a slim one still. 11 rounds posted for Gambit. Defo's found FNS, that's a problem. That's the pressure now removed from A, so you're going to see the likes of Defo now a little freer to move around. This is going to be maybe leaning towards a B piece, but we know he's at the back of the site. We know what he can do if he's unaccounted for. He's untested. They're still trying to draw this rotation. Maybe see if they can get a punish with Ye floating through middle, but he's not been really given much here. Just trying to clear out through vents. They still need to wait for more. If Ye's the piece to try and clear here, he's either have to go heaven or through vents. Maybe they drift back towards A, hoping there's rotations, but Gambit haven't had to move a player.
At all, and again, we'll just resort back again. Once Nas gets his spy cam up, potential to lean away from B. Envy now. Victor will creep towards A, but the spike's still in garage here. Yeah, he has actually got this mid pinch as well. Victor's getting in this position to try and sell a fake here on the back of the Seekers, but Gambit still.
Where are they going? They've got 30 seconds. Where are they going with this? They need something to open up for them here, and nothing is. They have 25 seconds, and they got to now lean back towards B, but Redguard's still here. He still knows what's going on. There's still Nats at the back of the side. Envy, come on, you've got to make this happen. Chronicle, he walks through and destroys Envy. 3 back-to-back frags, and it might be 4 in a second. He's on the chopping block. Gambit have made it to 12. One more round, and Gambit walk away.
Match point.
Map point, series point, championship point here. And Envy, again, you think back to that round with Red Guy, he removed everything. Look at this now, the byproduct of that decision-making from Red Guy. Chronicle, though, look at this. I think just at the last second, there's one Seeker coming towards B, and I think Envy are thinking, actually, the lighter side of this is the B setup from Gambit. And it's completely false. Look at this now. 2 Spectres, a Frenzy, a Sheriff, Defo now will find the opener. Victor falls.
4 players with the fate of Envy in their hands. Crashies, FNS, Ye, and Marved work their way in through the vents. Chronicle, the man who just destroyed them in the prior round, is just around this corner, but the timing, oh my god,
what?
No! Ye's made a meal of it! It's all going to pieces!
No way!
In the final moments, has just shone so brightly. They are blinded by the lights! Gambit are the Valorant Masters champions!
Absolutely insane from Gambit. I can't believe that. And again, the last round is so comfortable. Envy in desperation mode, desperately trying to recover something. But Gambit give nothing to them.
Give it a second. Give it a second. Gambit have done the unthinkable. They walked in with a map pool that made us worried, that made us scared. They took down El Diablo himself. They rose above anyone's expectations and have delivered in a way that is unimaginable. And Chronicle, what a way to end it.
Absolutely insane here. Again, I talk about desperation. Look at it. They're just throwing bodies on the line to try and trade this kill. And it's Defo to seal the deal. Absolutely blown away by that. What a series. And yes, you can almost say it's 3-0 in the grand finals. You hate to see it, but in that fashion, I'm all for it.
The games were incredible. And I want to say to the side of Envy in this as well, they put up a good fight, and you saw it in map 1. The back and forth between the two was just incredible. But even in this map alone, this is just a look back from start to finish, I thought this was going to be the best opportunity we could have seen for Envy to really do some damage. But then you had Chronicle having a mad game. As much as Crashies was in there, it wasn't enough to deny what was happening. Shados as well. So many of the clutches just going Gambit's way.
It was. And as well, you look at this, it's Envy coming into this without having dropped a map here to get absolutely locked down. I mean, let's roll it back a little bit. Gambit started this year as, the stuff of urban myth, right?
Oh, the Scrimbucks.
Yeah.
The team we kind of heard of in the background that scared people coming into Reykjavik.
Yeah, and I think back to Reykjavik, everyone's thinking, oh, they're not here, but actually the team we're talking most about in EMEA is Gambit. And right here is, I guess, everyone's fears answered.
Truly, just when nightmares become reality, they made it to the event, and they made it all the way through. These young men just put up an impeccable performance. They have to be incredibly proud of what they just did. Envy on the other side, they took down the North American Giants. They were the Kingslayers. Yeah. And they made it look like they had been reading from the Sentinels book for so long. They're like, we got you. But then on the other side, the final hurdle was Gambit, and they just couldn't make it across. And the man in the middle there as well, you got to say it, Nat's an outstanding performer throughout, catching everyone's eye. I think it wasn't just him, though. That was a team effort.
And actually, shout out to Chronicle, shout out to Defo, two people who, for me, individually stepped up to the plate time and time again. We talked about Nats, we talked about Shados. Redguard obviously had his moments previously, but for me, Chronicle, this series has been absolutely phenomenal.
The bar is set, and the trophy will be leaning towards EMEA for now. However, North America, I think the thing is now the target's been moved off their back for a change. I want to see what happens when they come back in, when the other regions keep firing up. I mean, we had incredible Korean teams coming through. The entire tournament has been a melting pot of talent here.
It has, and whilst it's great to see kind of Gambit cruise through here, I think actually this is the first time really we saw at this event, especially, I talked about that feast or famine sort of aspect here. This is a perfect example, right? We've seen Gambit stumble. We've seen them stumble along the journey, and to see them close out this, I mean, it's great to see, but it just ties in with what Gambit's all about.
I mean, I think anyone who's a fan of good Valorant will have adored that final. And as much as the Sentinels Fnatic final was exciting as just a prospect, I think the quality of game we just got in that has just elevated drastically. Quite genuinely, the game we just switched, even it being a 3-0, the maps themselves were incredible to watch.
It really was. And again, take nothing away from Envy. They had a fantastic run at this event. Again, yay. Was talked about so much coming into this, and lots of people were leaning on Envy as kind of that underdog. Here they actually proved to be so dominant individually as a team. So again, credit where credit's due. It was a fantastic performance. It effectively went the distance in the first two maps, but yeah, Split for me was, like I said, the last question mark in this veto. If it went any further, I got to say this is almost what we'd expect coming out the other side of it.
I feel as though that's enough from us. We've done our job. The moment, it's not ours. It's always been Gambit. So let's head it down there, give them their moment with the trophy.
Everyone from around the world, I present to you your Masters Berlin champions. It's Gambit!
Rasakan kelembutan coklat dipadukan dengan kebaikan susu. Cadbury Dairy Milk. Rasakan lembutnya kebaikan.
Once again, your Masters Berlin champions, it's Gambit. In just a moment, we'll be getting plenty of words from them as they step up for the entire EMEA region. For now, though, we're heading back to the casters.
Well, the stage is set for this grand finals best of 5. One of these teams will be leaving the stage as champions, bringing home a trophy and earning the ultimate bragging rights for their region. It does not get better than this.
One enemy remaining.
Beautiful, guys.
No more. Enemy down.
One enemy remaining.
Map 1 was an absolutely brutal battle between these two. I'm all aboard the crazy train now. Let's go. Let's go. I've got my ticket. I'm there. Like,
We're here for the ride.
One enemy remaining.
Gambit have just butchered Envy.
I don't know what Envy do here. Honestly, it's.
How do you adjust?
It's so unorthodox.
Oh yeah, call a tactical timeout. I really
Yeah.
want to figure out what to do.
Down. 30 seconds left. One enemy. One enemy.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back to Masters Berlin, where I am lucky enough to be standing on stage for the Verizon post-game interview with our newest international LAN champions. It's Gambit Esports, and Redgar, I'm going to turn to you first. Finally getting an opportunity to lift that trophy after having missed Reykjavik by just a small amount. That's got to feel good.
It's feeling amazing because we didn't expect that we can make it far away, and we did it, and it's wonderful feeling because I don't know how to say it. It's really amazing. That's what I can say.
I mean, and you did it in amazing fashion. They were close maps, but a 3-0 to close it out after having, to some degree, a tumultuous start to the tournament, and coming in as the second seed, you run the bracket and ultimately take the victory. I've spoken to you a couple times throughout this tournament, and we talked about how with the performance that you've had at this tournament, not only did you push Ascend through, but the very team that beat you to Reykjavik, with your win here, you have helped usher an opportunity to go to Champions. With what does it mean to represent this entire region to such a degree?
I guess it's okay for us. We don't feel the pressure. We're just playing our game. That's all.
Okay, so you mentioned you were playing your game, and I talked to you a little bit about the expectation coming in. A 3-map win. When you look across the stage at the opponents that you faced today in Envy, was that what you expected? How did this compare?
Of course not. we thought that we probably will lose Heaven because it's not our map. And in my head, it was around 3-1 or 3-2. It will be like close series, not for us or for them. It's like at all 3-1 from them or from us. That's the point.
Well, from here, Nats, I'd like to turn my attention to you, one of the stars of the tournament. Hello, sir. How's that trophy? Heavy?
No,
No, arms aren't getting tired?
the match against Envy was heavy.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll keep you here for 10 more minutes. You let me know how heavy that trophy is. But you have had
You
such...
had a chance already.
It's true. He tried to let me hold the trophy a moment ago, and I turned it down. My biggest regret. All right, so an incredible tournament out of you. I want to know how you reflect on your performance, because people look at you playing agents, sentinels, and controllers, and outperforming duelists when it comes to the scoreboard and the frags. Do you feel that your performance is changing the way people look at the game of Valorant?
I don't know. I'm just doing my job and I'm getting fun from it. Maybe someday some guy will do the same thing like me.
All right, fair enough. Well, speaking of which, when you think about being a representative of your home country, is there anything that you would like to say to the people back at home?
Actually, I want to say that thanks to a lot for all people who is writing me, who is saying me some good words. It makes me happy all the time. I'm reading that, and before the game, you know, I just know that I have a lot of fans, and they're just that's all. I don't know what to say, because actually I don't have emotions right now, but in here it's a lot of emotions.
Well, you had many fans coming in, and I'm sure you have even more now leaving this tournament. Chronicle, now I turn to you. Let's talk about that Haven map, because that's the one that Redgar said we didn't necessarily expect to win. This is a map that normally Gambit bans. Beyond that, you pulled out Brimstone, an agent that most people aren't willing to play on that map to begin with, and then you were a top performer on the team. So walk me through that map and how you were such an integral part to the victory and making this a 3-0.
First of all, Envy allowed at that pick. That's the biggest problem. They allowed and they lost. Nope. No.
All right.
Secondly, I am very bad at smokes. That's why I'm good. That's all.
Who needs smokes if you're killing everybody, right? Okay,
Who
fair
needs
enough.
even ult? What the hell is this? I don't know how to use that button. What the heck? How?
He's using half an agent, and he's taking a world championship even with it. Defo, now I want to talk to you. One of the young guns here at this tournament. A lot of people have said that you have found another level of play here on the LAN stage. I'm curious, your personal reflection on your performance here on the stage amidst tons of incredible duelists. Redgar's going to help us with some translations here.
Feeling good.
Good is good.
Thank you.
Good is good. That's what I like to hear. When it comes to the way that you stepped up, and maybe you can help me with this real quick, I wonder what he thinks is the next level of play. What's it going to take for him, to really cement himself as one of the greatest duelists in Valorant history? But you could just use your mic, too.
Nothing. I'm good.
He's good. He's already good, and we'll see him tested again at Champions at that. Shados, lastly, I turn to you, my friend. One of the rocks of the team, it seems, always a stellar performer. I want to get your perspective on the squad as a whole, because you now find yourselves in the very position that Sentinels found themselves in. You have a massive target on your back for the rest of the world. Everybody wants to come after you now when they're looking towards Champions. When you think about this team, what separates you from the rest? How will Gambit continue to stay above everyone else?
Короче, то, что на тебя будут все равняться, все знают, то, что ты классный игрок, вот, как ты в будущем себя будешь проявлять.
Так и что видите, ебать, на этот вопрос?
То, что будешь становиться лучше, типа, то, что меня никто не догонит, и тому подобное. Как хочешь. Скажи, просто буду развиваться дальше, и все.
I'm just can progressive on next tournaments, and I can do my best. So it's all.
We can only expect the best from Gambit at this point. I think that's what we've come down to. And finally, Aang, as the coach, for you, when you look at the opponent, the caliber of opponents that you guys have taken down at this tournament, I wonder for you, what was the inflection point of this team? what was kind of that star factor, that special thing that Gambit has that no other team in the world has?
Игорь, переведешь сейчас, окей? Ну, для нас, наверное, самая важная командная работа. У нас нету... Знаете, все думают, что у нас всегда там много внимания уделяется Язу, это очень круто, но по-настоящему у нас вся команда в какой-то момент выделяется. Даже по сегодняшним картам было видно, как у нас на каждой карте любой игрок делал свою работу, когда нужно. Вот. И я считаю, что в нашей команде все сейчас сбалансировано, каждый выполняет свою работу, вот и все. Как бы мы будем продолжать так и делать. Мы не стараемся играть на одного человека всегда, мы стараемся развиваться и играть как команда. Вот и все.
It's all about the communication. It's the key in our team. Yeah, a lot of people watching for Nats. He is really amazing player. We cannot not accept this, but team play, teamwork, how we're doing our job, everybody in our team just playing in their game, playing what they want to do, playing what they needed, and it's the key why we have that kind of performance.
Amazing. Well, finally, Nats, you think you can lift that one more time? All right, let's go. I present to you one final time your Masters Berlin champions. It's Gambit Esports. And as you guys have this much-deserved celebration, we're going to toss it back to our analyst desk to close out the day.
Thank you very much, Dash. I can never get tired of watching this. Also, Redgar's coming for my job. He's pretty good at translating and asking questions and doing the interviews. But you guys heard it from them. Full confidence today. Even Chronicle trash talking after them winning. We love to see it. But most importantly, Bala, they took down an NA team 3-0. They avenged Fnatic against Sentinels to lift this trophy.
Yeah, completely flipped the script on what we had at Reykjavik, right? We had Sentinels, the team with the star duelist player who's coming in tens. Envy this time is that NA team coming in with Ye. He's on top of the world statistically. And then the other team from EMEA comes out. It's like the tactical team, and they take the win.
It makes me really happy to see, like such a humble team, because every time that we talk to them, they're like, we're just trying to do our best. We just want to play the best teams. And you see other teams, where they're like ego players and yada yada. We all know all of those. But, coming into this tournament, being like the best in the region, and they're like, yeah, I guess we're good, but we want to be better. That's what I love about Gambit.
It just makes me really happy that you asked Bala that, because of all three of us.
I had to.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Of all three of us, who's going to be hurt the most by you saying, so EMEA just beat NA 3-0? It was going to be him.
You guys are sitting here acting like I was the biggest Gambit fanboy this entire time.
I mean, if you guys at home weren't Gambit fanboys before, they've given you a reason to be 3-0 cleanly. But also, we spoke about their map pool going into this. Sean was really impressed with how deep it is. But the fact that they didn't have the ban in this best of 5, they in theory, Kakuka, were on the back foot coming into this, makes this even more impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I mentioned it right before we started. The fact that, okay, they get to choose 2 of the 3 first maps, but they do not have the veto. They're going to have to play on Haven, and they do it again. I don't know how they do it, but they do it again.
I think what Coach Eng said at the end there basically summarizes how they're able to do that, right? To have the disadvantage and to come back swinging at it is because of that positive mental that he's talking about, the teamwork, the team play. They're selfless players, and that stands above all. That's what I was really impressed with the most out of this team.
I mean, yeah, I think the whole Haven thing is the scariest thing for me, because even though we kind of joke about them saying they're just going to pick a composition sort of on a whim and not really play with really specific strategies, the fact that they can put together something that coherent and cohesive that goes against one of the best teams in the world, nearly the best team in the world, that's terrifying. That is a very, very scary prospect for anyone who's going to be facing this team in the future. It's not about the maps that they've really strictly prepared for. It's about the ones that they can just come out and take from nowhere.
That's the beauty of it. I do want to talk about Split real quick, because we didn't get to address what happened on this map, except for what happened at halftime. Kakuka, did you expect them to close this out? Because Crashies was also on another planet on this map.
Yeah, I was actually mentioning it to you when they were, I believe, 6-6 at change. I was like, no, there's no way that Gambit does not close this, because they're so good at the defense. we saw Envy, you know, picking up this composition, this double controller, and all the things that you can do with it. But Gambit masters this in defense, the way that he used the utility to have presence in all parts of the map without even needing to be there. And then the pressure from all the 5 players that were on point today, specifically Chronicle.
Yeah, and talking about Chronicle, I think his play within that mid area, the mailroom area, was what really threw off Envy on that attack side from them, because they had no chance of getting that space, and because of that, anytime they wanted to make a mid-game rotation, they had to go all the way through spawn or through sewers, and it would just take so much time for them. It's so undesirable.
I mean, one thing for me that was really impressive was just the way that Gambit on their defense were really able to punish this kind of first layer of utility that Envy would use. So whether that's putting a poison orb on ramps in the hope that they can take that, or putting a cage in mail in hopes to take the heaven, but then there wouldn't be a further layer of utility after that. So once Envy get to that point, they're getting punished by these players. Like, look around 18, it was Shados who did that in mail. Look around 19, it's Redgar on ramps, and Envy can't actually push back that first level of utility and that first step of their attack that they've set up.
Yeah, I said the Crashies was on another planet as well. We got to take a look at this, you know, the HyperX reflex moment of the day, because I don't think anybody expected him to win from the position he did later on in this round. We'll kick things off, you know, Chronicle getting a lot of advantage in this round, and when I watched this, Paul, I thought this was over for Envy at this point.
Yeah, I thought it was too, and he almost pulled it out. That first shot on a jet, updrafting, that is ridiculous. Then Redgar tries to jump on him.
My goodness.
Chronicle tries to jump on him, but there's just one more player there, and I think that's kind of sums up the series, right? There's always just one more for Gambit that ends up closing it out, and unfortunately for Envy, they didn't have anybody to support.
The self-awareness of like hitting that last shot, just getting the pistol out, knowing that someone else is pushing you just because you hear 2 extra steps from the ones that you're usually hearing.
I gotta say as well, for Envy, you know, even though they are the runners up here, we can't discredit the way they played this tournament. I don't think anybody really expected them to be in the final. Yes, the group was slightly easier for them, Geo, compared to the other ones, but they took down the 2 NA teams that they struggled with previously to get here.
I think the whole, you know, Envy having the easier group is null and void at this point, because they got here and the other NA teams didn't, right? And when you considered the 3 NA teams, there was all this, you know, oh yeah, they're going to get the top 3 seeds, it's going to be, they're going to from first, second, and third. Envy, I think is fair to say, would probably be the team that people expected to come third out of those 3. And yet 100 Thieves and Sentinel, remember them? Sentinels didn't actually make it here to the final or as close to it as Envy did. So, you know, in the same way that no one came away from the Reykjavik final saying, wow, Fnatic were bad, no one's going to be saying that about Envy.
I think twice now we've kind of in NA have broken the narrative that, oh, you know, they only have 1 star player on every team, they're really puggy, they don't have any team player or anything like that. I think Envy smashed that narrative. I think 100 Thieves smashed that narrative. And for 2 times now, they're in the top 2 at these international tournaments, and they're definitely here to stay.
I also feel like the meta has put us in a position where we really value the players and the roles that they pick in every single team. So we actually see the progress little by little. You know, at the beginning of the game, it's like, you have a star player, I have a star player, we clutch them together and we see what happens. But now we have all these different profiles being like, I'm so good at my role, I fit into this, this, and this. And that is what makes us a great team.
It's scary how good teams are getting every single tournament we go to. If you compare the standards we've seen in this best of 5 compared to the Reykjavik one, it's just another step, even higher caliber, Geo.
Well, it just makes you wonder, this time next year, you know, let's say the LAN tournament that happens this time next year, what is that disparity going to look like? Because we are only just over a year into this game, and this is how far these teams have already come.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of that, Tom made a tweet that made me laugh. I know, for once. I can't believe it either. I can't believe it either. He said that if NA teams are mad about EMEA sending 4 slots to this tournament, imagine how mad they're going to be that they're sending 4 slots to Champions, because, ladies and gents, with that win from Gambit, Fnatic have locked in Champions. Yes, the runner-ups of Masters Reykjavik, the team that missed out on Masters Berlin, Kukuka, they are going to Champions.
And I bet that they were watching at home. They were cheering for Gambit. We were mentioning it earlier. Congrats to them. We'll see them at the end of the year. They didn't have to go through last chance qualifiers, so easy for them.
That's good. You also have to remember as well that 100 Thieves were waiting to see how Envy were going to do here, because if Envy won, both Envy and 100 Thieves were going to be locked in themselves. So they're going to have words with them later.
And then the other thing that comes out with that as well, with the MEA team going extra, Forza makes it to LCQ, so that's Gambit's kind of rival in CIS. We're going to have more CIS teams coming over to LCQ.
That's what we need. That's what we need. But also Envy, of course, they've locked themselves in as well. They're going to be back here again, joining Sentinels as champions, as NA take a look at their own last chance qualifier. But before we close this out, I want to know your favorite moments from this tournament, guys. There's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of upsets. There's a lot of rising stars, players standing out. I'll start with you, Kakuka. What has been your favorite moment of this tournament?
I mean, I have to say, for me, coming from Spain and being from the Spanish community, it has to be Crew making it into quarterfinals, because they had like such a rough start and had such a rough path in Masters 2, that for them to make it, even if it's just to there, proves a lot. And I'm really happy